Hello and welcome to Panoramic Edition, where we discuss national, regional and international developments in depth. The Kingdom of Bahrain and Japan maintain exceptional bilateral relations characterized by mutual respect and collaboration. Diplomatic ties between the two nations have steadily strengthened since their establishment. Both countries engage in continuous cooperation across diverse sectors, including trade, investment, education, and energy. High-level visits and diplomatic exchanges further reinforce their strategic partnership. Japan has been a key investor in Bahrain's development initiatives, while Bahrain supports Japan's presence in the Gulf region. Cultural exchanges and joint events have deepened mutual understanding between their people. The two nations also collaborate on regional and global issues within multilateral frameworks. This enduring relationship reflects a shared commitment to peace, prosperity and sustainable development. To talk more about that, we are pleased to be joined here in the studio by Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Ms. Okai Asako, right after this. Welcome back. We are pleased to be joined here in the studio by Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Ms. Okai Asako. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Your Excellency, there is so much to talk about, but in order to give people a perspective about all of the topics we are going to be informed on, can you give us a brief historical review about the diplomatic relationship between Bahrain and Japan and the stages of how it actually developed?
Okay, well, thank you for the question. You said diplomatic ties, but it started in 1972. But however, our relations dates back in 1934 when Bahrain started to export crude oil. And the first country that was designated was Japan.
That's amazing. That's a long history when it comes to the economic structure also between the countries. How did the development happen from then on?
Yes, so since then, I mean, we started with this oil and gas trade. However, it's now evolved into a more comprehensive and strategic one that encompasses many areas, not only economics, but the politics, global, regional agenda, IT, space, culture, of course, and then many more. So we really feel that it has evolved in a really a good state, and then we are now looking toward to further strengthening and expanding to new heights.
It's amazing how not just time, but also the strength of friendship between the two countries really developed and fed into these positive relationships. How do you value the keen interest of both Bahrain and Japan's leadership to bolster the relationship between their two countries?
That has been crucial. It's been guided by His Majesty the King Hamad, and then also His Royal Highness Crown Prince's vision to partner with Japan in many areas. And then it's a reciprocal. Japanese imperial household values friendship with Bahrain. As a matter of fact, I always say this because it's so heartwarming. It was a honeymoon for current His Majesty the Emperor and the Empress Masako's visit to Bahrain in 1994.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just after their marriage.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. That's even a sentimental context when you look at it that way. That kind of dedication to this friendship and to this relationship also builds on the strength of future endeavors and future relationship aspects between them. How did official visits, such as the one that you just mentioned, result in further enhancing and strengthening the relationship between Bahrain and Japan?
Oh, that's crucial. And then this has guided and made many milestones. For instance, in 2012, when His Majesty the King Hamad visited Japan, it was kind of start for the new eras of the economic partnership and then the strategic comprehensive partnership. And then His Royal Highness has since then visited 3 times to Japan. And then the later Prime Minister Abe also took a visit to Bahrain for the first time as a Prime Minister in 2013. See, so that era was very, very crucial. And now that these exchanges at the royal level has taken place this year, when we are holding the Osaka Kansai Expo, which started in April. At that time, His Highness, the Southern Governor, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Ali Al Khalifa had visited Japan and then met with the Imperial Highness Crown Prince and Crown Princess Akishino, and then also opened the Bahrain Pavilion there. So as such, this as milestones, but there has been layers of exchanges, not this at the top level, but official level exchanges.
Absolutely. But even those exchanges show the deep-rooted relationship between the 2 countries and that trust and dedication between them to their friendship. As you've mentioned, there are so many fields where the Kingdom of Bahrain and Japan have had a collaboration and a cooperation together, and they exchange expertise. You've mentioned some, which is education, economics, and sustainable development is very high there on the agenda. Can you tell us a bit more about the different fields of cooperation between the 2 countries?
Sure. I can do that. And then to oversee this kind of comprehensive cooperation in many fields, there are overarching the mechanism for consultations. I just would like to mention that just a few weeks ago, the 7th Interministerial Policy Consultations has taken place with the visit of Japanese Assistant Minister in Foreign Affairs in charge of Bahrain. And then we had a conversation about it. It's encompass economic, security matters, all that. But among the many areas, and I can talk in depth later on, but I would like to highlight the new areas in economics, or the regional and global security, and also archaeology and cultural heritage, preservation, and technology and space. These are the new emerging areas, and I can talk about it more.
I mean, when we talk about these new emerging areas, we have to also indicate that the reason for these new emerging areas is the changes around the region, the changes in technologies, and also the acknowledgement of everybody's target at the end is also changing when it comes to that. Tell us a little bit about these areas. I mean, the space agency, that was a big deal, especially with all of the potential that Bahrain is striving for. Tell us about how that works in.
Okay, so we congratulate Bahrain for the recent launch of Al-Moon NASA. That has been the first in the Gulf region with the AIs equipped. But before that, Japan had supported their development in space activities by Bahrain. For instance, Bahrain UAE joint developed satellite Light 1 went out in 2022 from a Japanese space station. And we hope to see that with the newly established Bahrain Space Agency, we'll collaborate with JAXA, Japan's counterpart to that, and it's an exciting area.
Yeah, especially that there is already a history of collaboration when it comes to that. Another very important part is food security and also security within the region when it comes to the challenges that are facing the region. How is the collaboration on that end?
that end, I mean, I would like to focus on Japan's ongoing activities in the counter piracy.
Yes.
We are very much appreciative of the Bahrain hosting the combined maritime forces. It's a multinational joined up efforts for the maritime security in the region and beyond. And Japan is proud to have taken the part in it for last 15 years. And it means a lot. This is a big commitment by Japan with the vessels assigned every half a year, and then they rotate around. Hundreds of Japanese personnel involved in this. This is a way, the concrete way to work in this region, and we are having the joint collaboration with Bahrain, the Navy as well. We recently saw the joint exercise, goodwill exercise. As such, we want to build up like-minded people for the security of the region.
Of course. Your Excellency, when it comes to the geographical outlay of both Japan and Bahrain, there are a lot of similarities when it comes to the strength of the navies and the maritime forces especially. Do you see that that is a factor why this collaboration and this partnership is strong?
Not only that, I mean, there's a foundation in the economy. That's, I mean, we are proud to take part in the foundation of the Bahrain economy in the infrastructure, manufacture, energy sector. There has been so much Japanese investment in those areas. But the cultural side, the new phase of the investment is on the entertainment, hospitality industries, the gastronomy.
Yes.
That's also a part of the new development. So I wouldn't say, just not the security-wise, but economic and also the cultural side, accompanied by the value we attach in youth, and then the new innovation with them. And many more.
Absolutely. When it comes to the cultural side, also a very big factor of it is the friendship and collaboration between the citizens of both countries. And in the Kingdom of Bahrain, there is a very significant Japanese appearance within the society itself. Can you tell us about what kind of activities Japanese citizens do here in Bahrain or enjoy here in Bahrain?
Well, in terms of Japanese community, it's not so big. It's less than 200, as a matter of fact. And then the majority, well, half of them belong to two companies, namely Toyota and Yokogawa companies. They have a regional base here. But other than that, the background of our nationals, like in many areas, manufacture, trade, also some on the financing side. So it's diverse, but I want to tell you that it's not everything about Japan is represented here in Bahrain. There are many Japanese community elsewhere in the region overseeing Bahrain.
Of course, definitely. But also when it comes to the greatest developments and launch initiatives at the Japanese embassy, we always see that diverse intake of culture, whether it is between Japan and Bahrain, or even represented by the people, the Japanese citizens and the Bahrainis being together. So tell us a little bit about that. What are the embassy's ways of consolidating these kind of bilateral relationships, even between the citizens, and the embassy's future plans to further enhance these in all the fields?
Oh, okay. Well, that I have many things to tell you. I'm really fascinated by love for Japan, as a matter of fact, from Bahraini communities extended. I noticed that many young ones are brought up in 70s, 80s, had seen all the anime and manga that is Japanese, and then they grow up with it. And now that they are part of the center of the society in decision making, they are so much interested in doing more about Japanese culture-related ones, food inclusive. So one of the popular things is that, for instance, Comic-Con last month, we had the Bahrain Comic-Con, attracting so much interest. And I'm working with the organizer to expand further in Japanese-related content. Although there had been really good programs of Japanese anime and manga for decades, they had not been expanded in the area of what we call intellectual property businesses, you know, merchandise, gaming or streaming, and all the other, you know, associated area is still a blue ocean.
Absolutely, especially that when you look at that particular field, Japan is the trendsetter when it comes to them. It's not only an entertainment factor, but it's a really cultural and historical factor from many, many years. How important is it for you to, for those to be properly represented within such events?
For that, that is really important to have the knowledge about the intellectual property, and then the associated ones is gaming or the application development, all that IT related ones. We need to work with the youth who are interested in doing businesses in that area. What we are working with the Japanese community is that they know that there's so many uptake from the Middle East market, but they're still timid because you know, voice actors are called in many Comic-Cons around the region, but that's one of things, you know. In order to have the base, we need to have the human resource development and then the work with the community to create the environment fit for such intellectual property businesses.
Absolutely. Especially that the Kingdom of Bahrain, as you have mentioned, there is a very vast interest already between the two countries and their people in each other's culture. The Kingdom of Bahrain hosts many cultural events and also businesses that are originally from Japanese culture. I mean, you've mentioned gastronomy, but also cultural events such as tea making and schools and people that are educated and are apprentices to very big people within Japan in this old art of tea and tea picking and choosing. And for me, that was very interesting because really it is a dedication when it comes to that. Tell us about meeting people like that are really interested in that strong culture of Japan.
Okay. Since you mentioned tea, I just would like to highlight the one Bahraini lady who has authentic Japanese tea house here. She studied in Japan as the government scholarship, through government scholarship, and fell in love with Japan culture, and then especially in tea ceremony. You have a very established school and discipline in Japan, and then there hierarchy of the instructors, but she climbed up, you know, up the ladder to become a very certified the tea instructor. Her name is the Budu Steel, and then her tea house is called Chawan. But I was so impressed with her passion. I appointed her as a goodwill ambassador for Japanese cuisine to to make her passion spread, you know, around, and then hoping that through food and Japanese culture, we can promote the Japanese aesthetics, how we think, how we value intricate craftsmanship. All that is part of our activities and initiative to spread from pop culture to the traditional art, and then the food, and then anything. And then you mentioned the young ones and the education. Education and people-to-people exchanges, I believe that going each other's countries, you know, and explore is so important. And tourism is one area that I also attach a lot of importance and emphasis. And but I really found that destination management companies of both countries are not yet connected well. There's so much room that we can do together. So that's another initiative that I'm taking.
Definitely, especially that when it comes to tourism, Bahrain strives to be at the forefront when it comes to our region. And Japan has always had that history that sometimes is not known to people because there is so much of it, and there are so many cultural destinations within Japan when it comes to interests that you can visit, or when it comes to beauty that you can interest. And having that kind of collaboration will strengthen tourism within both countries. When we look at the Japanese community within the kingdom, as you've mentioned, there are not many people here, but they are very engaged within the community itself. Tell us about the prospects that you would like to see visualized more between when it comes to the citizens and the residents of Bahrain and Japan within the country.
More interface, interaction. As a matter of fact, the Japanese society has been running school for some decades, but it has to be closed during the COVID time. But there was a tradition of the Japanese festival, including bon odori, that's kind of the folk dancing, and then all the stalls of matsuri, the festival, is now brought up in a public space, and we've been holding 3 times in Mall of Dilmunia, and the people are fascinated. They dance together in the bodori, and then have mochi, pounded together, game together. That sort of interaction, I think, will encourage further. And there are business side of it. There are so many business people interested in bringing those Japanese elements to a more entertainment area.
Yes.
I really feel there is the opportunity of businesses, and then also joining community together.
Absolutely. There's so much potential when we look at that. How do you value the atmosphere when it comes to Bahrain? I mean, Bahrain is known for its, not just its tolerance and coexistence, but its warmth when it comes to having people on its ground and providing them with everything they need to have a cherished, fulfilled life. So from your point of view, how do you value the remarkable atmosphere of welcoming, tolerance, coexistence that is enjoyed by the Bahraini community?
It's been fascinating element. As a matter of fact, the Japanese people, without knowing Bahrain, would have some sort of bias, like, Middle East, Arab, it's more.
There is a stigma to the area. To
but as soon as you step into Bahrain and know people, and then feel their warmth, passion, compassion, and then as you live longer, you find that there's such effort by the society for coexistence, allowing open for diversity, interfaith. faith, religious freedom. You know more about it. And I would add to that list that the genuine interest from the leadership about the gender, women's empowerment and youth empowerment. And then all this openness, it has been coming from the ancient times. It's been the hub for all the different ethnicities to converge, and then, you know, so that atmosphere is actually working very well for the new entrants, those who are thinking of coming to Middle East. There are, you know, a very big opportunity in the region, but to think of Bahrain as a hub because of this openness and to be able to access other countries from the region, I think it's really the asset for Bahrain.
It really is, Your Excellency, especially that the representation of the Middle East and of the GCC countries and of the region being in Bahrain, that is a very big thing to carry on one's shoulder. But Bahrain has been doing that eloquently and perfectly for so many years, for older civilizations even. From your point of view, what are the main fields that can witness maybe more upcoming cooperation between the two countries?
Well, there are many. I mean, as I said, that you know, in the economy area, we are moving away in many areas. But one is on the sustainable side, sustainable energy, digital transformation, smart city, or the sustainability agenda. We can do a lot together. I talked about entertainment business, but it's related to really IT, and then all the innovation related to creativity side. Now art, digital art, there are a whole range of things that you can do together. Other things, the education area, if we can drill further on and then unleash the potential of the youth from exchanges through such new areas that the youth would like to, you know, explore. I think there will be, you know, potential for entrepreneurship, startups, sustainable agriculture, food security related things with the new entrepreneurs trying to do something new. And I feel that it's my mission to facilitate the networking of those young ones aspiring for the new solutions.
Yes, definitely. When it comes to the end of the show today, there are a lot of things that we need to put into context, especially that the Embassy of Japan in Manama has a very big role in bringing these cultures together. Before we end today, what are the future cultural and social initiatives that are being prepared by the Embassy?
Okay, so there are many, but I like to highlight a few. One big thing that we are contemplating for the upcoming autumn season. Autumn, as you know, there are clusters of various activities, but the main one will be anime, Japanese anime festival that we are building on the success of the last year's Japanese anime, and then the tokusatsu, that's a special effect film festival. There are so much interest. So I want to bring more anime in the festival in autumn to come.
That's great, because you have a very big pool of people that love it, not just in Bahrain, but in the region. So that being here, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. How about other activities when it comes to bringing the culture of Japan to Bahrain?
Well, culture of Japan, I mean, the annual Japanese Society Matsuri, we want to make it even more accessible to many others. So that's one area that we can build on. And then the various cultural activities that yet I cannot say in concrete terms, but we are thinking in areas of food and the more related to tourism, and hopefully the educational trips and then the building on the education side. That's the area that we are still working on to come in a concrete the initiative. Hope that everyone, the audience, will stay tuned in our Instagram. We'll be posting many information in weeks and months to come. So stay tuned.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. We're really looking forward to all of that. Thank you for being with us today and for shedding some light on how strong the relationship is between the two countries and the potential attached. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching. And we will see you next week in another episode of Panoramic Edition. Thank you.